A routine hospital visit in Brooklyn suddenly erupts into a massive street clash, sparking a political firestorm that pits the police against the mayor.
Yeah, and it really shows, just how fragile that relationship between local and federal law enforcement actually is.
Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we are looking at the events of May 2, 2026. Picture this. Masked Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agents, so ICE, they arrest an undocumented immigrant named Chidozie Wilson Oki.
Right, and they take him to a Brooklyn hospital for some injuries. But within minutes, like 200 protesters just surround the building.
Total chaos breaks out. I mean, the NYPD arrives, pepper spray flies, an ICE vehicle actually drives through the crowd, and police arrest 8 to 9 people.
It's wild. And that one single event sets off this massive political chain reaction. It basically traps Mayor Zohran Mamdani right between federal ICE agents, progressive activists, and his very own police department.
Yeah, a conflict that's captured perfectly when an on-duty NYPD captain goes viral for just, completely trashing the mayor on camera.
No, absolutely. That was a huge moment.
Now, before we unpack all of this, we do need to note something for you. Our sources today contain highly politically charged content from both left-wing and right-wing perspectives.
Yeah, that's really important to keep in mind. We are not taking any sides or endorsing any viewpoints today. We are simply here to impartially report the facts and the ideas contained in your sources.
Exactly, so you can understand exactly what happened. Our goal for you today is to unpack the timeline of this Bushwick hospital clash, explore the bitter internal war between Mayor Mamdani and the NYPD, and really examine the massive showdown brewing between New York City and the federal government over sanctuary laws.
Right. There is a lot to cover.
Yeah.
So let's start with the tactical play-by-play of what actually happened on May 2.
Let's do it. So ICE agents arrest Chidozie Wilson Oke. He's a Nigerian immigrant, and his tourist visa actually expired back in 2024.
Yeah, and ICA notes that he has previous arrests on his record for assault and drug possession.
Got it. So during the arrest, Oke suffers some injuries. ICE agents take him to the Wyckoff Heights Medical Center emergency room,
Which is in Bushwick. And locals spot the agents almost immediately. I mean, people talk, right? They quickly mobilize a crowd of about 200 protesters right outside the hospital.
200 people, just like that.
Yeah. And they're not just standing around. Protesters actually throw garbage cans into the street to physically block the ICE vehicle.
Wow. So it gets to around 2:15 a.m.
Right, early morning.
ICE agents basically drag a handcuffed, what witnesses call semi-conscious Oki, out of the hospital.
And that's when things really boil over. Protesters start smashing the ICE vehicle's windows. An ICE agent pulls out pepper spray and sprays the crowd.
And some NYPD officers actually get hit in the crossfire.
Yes, exactly. The ICE SUV speeds away, and it actually hits a protester on the way out. After that, the NYPD moves in and arrests 8 to 9 people.
It sounds like a powder keg waiting for a match. I mean, you have a hospital, a place of healing, instantly turning into a chaotic battleground.
It really was. But you have to remember, this didn't just happen in a vacuum. It connects to a much larger federal push called Operation Salvo.
Operation Salvo.
Yeah. It was launched by former DHS Secretary Kristi Noem. The goal was to target gangs in New York City, which meant drastically increasing ICE's presence across the whole city.
Oh, so everyone was already on high alert.
Exactly. The whole city was on edge. And that brings us to the immediate local fallout, because New York City is a sanctuary city.
Right, and Mayor Mamdani campaigned heavily on that. He promised to basically prohibit the NYPD from helping ICE.
Which is why the backlash was so swift. Following the clash, activists and politicians immediately accused the NYPD of breaking those sanctuary laws.
Wait, how so? What did they say the police did?
Well, witnesses claim that officers cordoned off the area specifically to help ICE leave. There was even a claim that cops gave an ICE agent a jack to change a flat tire.
Wow, okay. But the NYPD denies that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The NYPD claims they only responded because they got 911 calls about people blocking traffic. They completely deny coordinating with ICE.
So Mayor Mamdani is caught in the middle. I mean, he faces heavy backlash from his progressive base.
Oh, intense backlash. He actually calls a video from the scene, which shows an NYPD officer throwing a protester to the ground. He calls it incredibly disturbing.
Right, and he orders a formal audit of the NYPD to examine their response protocols.
He does. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
The police are in a really tough spot here.
I mean, that makes sense. Let me ask you this. If the NYPD gets multiple 911 calls about people throwing trash cans and blocking a hospital, how exactly do they clear the street without looking like they are picking sides and helping ICE?
That is the exact impossible dilemma local law enforcement faces right now. I mean, you're caught between a federal agency executing a legal arrest, a crowd causing a massive public disturbance, and your own city politicians demanding strict non-cooperation.
It's like you can't win.
You really can't.
Yeah.
And that frustration is exactly what leads to the plummeting police morale we saw.
Which brings us to the viral captain.
Yes, Captain James Wilson.
Right. So during the protest, someone films this on-duty NYPD captain, James Wilson, making these highly political statements.
In uniform, on duty.
Yeah. And he calls Mayor Mamdani, quote, an embarrassment and total nonsense. He says the mayor is not my boss.
It gets worse. He also calls all Democrats a, quote, waste of human race.
Oh, wow. So the NYPD had to react to that.
They did. Department policy strictly bans officers from sharing personal political views while on duty, so they transferred Wilson to a 911 call center in the Bronx.
But not everyone agreed with that punishment.
Yeah, not at all. Conservative commentators like Sid Rosenberg quickly jump in to defend Wilson. They argue that police face this massive double standard.
A double standard how?
Well, they claim that politicians constantly attack cops in the media, but the second a cop speaks out, they face immediate punishment.
Interesting. But it's not just one captain speaking out. A recent Inspector General report revealed that NYPD executives were actually using official social media accounts to aggressively target and demean public officials and journalists.
Yeah, the report shows a real pattern of this behavior from the top down.
You know, it's like a corporate structure where the employees are openly live streaming their hatred for the CEO, and the CEO responds by publicly auditing the employees. The trust is completely gone.
That is a perfect analogy. It completely exposes the severe breakdown in communication between the rank-and-file officers and the progressive city leadership.
So Mayor Mamdani is really walking a tightrope here.
He is. And you have to look at his broader policy platform to understand the pressure he's under. He's the city's first Muslim and Asian American mayor.
Right.
And he balances these bold, progressive moves with some incredibly harsh financial realities.
Yeah, I saw he pushed a $1.7 billion childcare plan, and he revoked past executive orders that punish boycotts of Israel.
But on the flip side, he has a $5.4 billion city deficit to fix.
That is a massive hole to fill.
It is. So to help fix it, he actually cancels a $17 billion expansion to a housing voucher program.
Wow, $17 billion.
Yeah, and he even restarts homeless encampment sweeps. So he's making some tough, unpopular calls.
And the pressure from the state level is ramping up, too. New York State Democrats are preparing to pass strict new sanctuary laws.
Right. These new laws would literally ban ICE from entering hospitals and schools without a judicial warrant.
But the federal government isn't just going to accept that. Senior ICE official Tom Homan actually threatens to, quote, flood the zone with more ICE agents than the city has ever seen.
Which is a huge threat. But Governor Kathy Hochul fires right back. She says she does not take well the threats.
It is just a massive clash of power. But despite all this fierce battling, Mamdani actually meets with Donald Trump in the Oval Office.
This part is fascinating. He brings Trump a fake newspaper that just praises the president.
Wait, a fake newspaper?
Yeah, he does it hoping to secure a $21 billion housing grant for the city.
Wait, really? Let me get this straight. So the mayor calls the president a fascist publicly, but then hands him a fake newspaper in the Oval Office to ask for $21 billion. That is a wild political tightrope to walk.
It is totally wild. But it really explores the paradox of local governance. You know, mayors often run these fiery ideological campaigns.
Right, they promise the moon.
Exactly. But once they're actually in office, they have to deal with the pragmatic reality. They desperately need federal money to keep the city running.
It all comes down to the budget in the end.
Always. You can't pave roads with ideology.
So true. Well, we have covered a lot of ground today. Let's summarize the core themes for you. Basically, a single arrest at a hospital completely stripped away the polite veneer of city politics.
It really did. It exposed the deep active fault lines in New York City.
Yeah, the battle between federal agents and local activists, and that bitter internal war between a progressive mayor and his police force.
It's all connected.
It is. Which leaves us with a final question for you to ponder.
Go for it.
If state laws force local police to completely ignore federal agents, and federal agents decide to retaliate by flooding the zone with raids, what happens to the safety of the everyday citizen who gets caught in the crossfire of two law enforcement groups actively working against each other?
That is the real question going forward.
It really is. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.